Bystial Runick is one of the coolest deck profiles that I've seen in the last couple weeks. I took it to a couple of events and it just felt like it was missing something. So after testing a couple of things out, I did what all of the cool kids are doing in the age of Overlord and added some Horus to it. That's right, a little bit of Horus cards in the pack. So let's get right on into it. If you like the profile, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos because that helps a ton. And if you make any changes or you're gonna try it out, let me know down in the comments what you think. So starting off, like I said, it is Horus Bystial Runick. So let's talk about what I put in for the Horus package. It's basically what everybody's putting in for the Horus package. 3 Imsety, 1 Hapi, and 2 King Sarcophagus. I wouldn't do 3 King Sarcophagus because it's already a 44 card deck. And I wouldn't do 1 King Sarcophagus because if you draw King Sarcophagus and Imsety, then you're pretty much SOL and you can't resolve Imsety's effect. So 2 King Sarcophagus is a sweet spot here. I don't think I would change that number. 1 Hapi, he's a really good card. People don't respect what he does. And then 3 Imsety, and that is your 6 card Horus package. Pretty simple. For the Bystial branded whatever package you want to call it, we have 3 of the Quims. We don't want to change that. She's the best of all of the tuners in your deck, because she gets you a Cartesia or a Luber to the graveyard, which you can then summon back immediately whenever you resolve a runic spell to summon from the extra deck. That also chain blocks your Hugin for the Fountain Search, and like I said, gets you a secondary tuner. So Quim is the one you want to see the most. 2 Cartesia, we took it down from 3 for the Horus cards. That is definitely worth it because, like I said, you get her off Quim, and you already have 6 tuners, plus 3 ways to search these tuners, with Bystial Lubellion, who of course can search the Bystial Aluber to get you a level 4 tuner if you are desperate for one. So I think that's a pretty good number right now. We have the 4 other Bystials, Magmanut, Drua's Worm, Saronir, and Baldrake. I tried to cut Baldrake out of the deck, but you get a lot of extra summons off of the runic spells, Branded Regained, and even Dissipators. So having the option to tribute those monsters to stop an extra deck summon from your opponent is actually really powerful, and I end up putting back in the deck. And then, of course, we have the 2 Branded Regains. This just makes you go plus, 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 plus. You can resolve this once per chain for each one you have on the field. So if you have 2 of these up, you can get 2 Bystial summons on your opponent's turn, 1 for each regained, plus King Sarcophagus, plus Runic Fountain. They don't know which spell to pop. The only thing that's really stopping you is a Lightning Storm at this point. Or Heartbeat's Feather Duster, I guess. But yeah, 2 regained. You can cut 1 for a Branded Beast if you're missing that effect. But I have Branded Beast in the side deck, so if I really, really want it, I could just throw it in. After the Horus and the Bystial package comes, of course, the Runic Fountain. Runic was the first deck I ever built, so having this come back in this kind of way is why I immediately ran to this deck and wanted to find a way to improve it. We have 2 Fountains, 3 Just the Tips, 3 Slumbers, pretty standard, 3 Flashing Fires, 3 Destruction, 3 Freezing Curses, 1 Smiting Storm. You could add Dispelling and make this a 45 card deck, or you could cut Smiting Storm and add Dispelling. I just went with Smiting Storm. Dispelling is alright, but this is good too. Nothing really crazy about this runic package. It is what, 2, 5, 8, 11, 12, 15, 18 cards. So you're gonna see some a lot of the time, which is what you want. You want to see, honestly, 2 to 3. Give you an extra summon so you can resolve Fountain to draw on your turn is great. And then we'll move into the non-engine. We only have room for 3 Ash and 2 Talents. I would not swap Ash. You can swap Talents for whatever you want. This is a great card, though. I actually got to use this card to steal a 5,000 attack boss monster from Memento last night and attack for game. That was pretty cool, and I like that card. So I have that one. If you want to have another card you want to throw in for your non-engine, that is fine. You can do it, and that is great. But like I said, it's 44 cards, so you got to be careful if you want to just add anything. Up next is the extra deck. We have the 2 Hugin, 1 Jerry, and 1 Sleipnir. Hugin is great. You always want her. You're often putting her back to your extra deck from Branded Regained. So she's a good banish target as well for like Bystial summons, or even SP Little Knight on turn 1 if you want to resolve Regain for you. Jerry's really good. People don't respect the fact that when he's destroyed by battle, he destroys a card on the field, and also on summon he just recurs your Fountain from the graveyard, so that's good. And then Sleipnir comes up sparingly. If you ran Effect Veiler, you could probably use it more because that's a free Chaos Angel. It's just good to have if you want to summon from the extra deck for an extra layer of protection. You get the token if you want to use that to like link or anything like that. And the runic cards are not too many slots in the extra deck. So you have a lot of room to work with some fun. So let's go into our Synchro monsters. We have Tri-Edge Master and Coral Dragon. So these are both your level 6 Synchros. Tri-Edge Master, when you summon with a 4 and a 2, any of your tuners and Hugin, you get to draw 1 on summon. Coral Dragon is a tuner as well that draws 1 when sent to the graveyard. So you would normally use Hugin and a tuner to go into Coral Dragon, then summon Jerry to go into a level 10, and then you would get a draw whenever he's sent to the graveyard. So those are what those cards are used for. They're great extenders in this deck. We have the time card, level 8, Scarlight, Red Dragon Archfiend. It's a ghost rare, sorry it's hard to see. But yeah, basically you summon this card with Jerry and one of your tuners. You destroy every special summoned card on the field and burn your opponent for 500. It's great for time. It's also just great for blowing up fields. For level 10, we have Baron, Dissipator, Chaos Angel, and Chen-Ying. These are probably just 4 of the best rank 10s right now that you could use. A really cool thing with the Horus engine is that Hugin plus Imsety equals a free Light and Dark Chaos Angel, so always keep that in mind, because the other Runick Bystial deck was putting up Dissipator and Baron on turn 1. Now you get access to a Chaos Angel as well. That is 3 of the most powerful Synchro monsters on your field at the same time. And then if you're going to get something that's really hard to get over, like Pearly with the tower, something like that, you just go Chen-Ying, you get attack for all of your banished monsters, and then swing. After the rank 10s, we go into the rank 12s. Yes, this deck has Crimson Dragon and Despian Lulu Lilith. I am not running Granguinol, but you do have a level 4 tuner and level 8 monsters on the field all the time with the Horus cards and Lubellion. So having access to rank 12s I thought was a very powerful option. Crimson Dragon would just tag a Baron and get you a free Dissipator after you've already set Regained off Lubellion's effect, which would then make it so you don't have to rely on the Regain to summon back the Dissipator, and you can use it to summon back something like a Druid's Worm or a Saronir that could give you some sort of extra effect whenever it's sent back to the graveyard. Despian Lulu Lilith is there if you don't have another Synchro on the field, but you have the play to go into 12 with like a Horus monster and a tuner. This card, you put it down, they are scared to summon from their extra deck. It's a negate. It gets all of your monsters 500 attack permanently. So your Horus cards, whenever they go to the graveyard and come back, they keep that 500 bonus, and that happens once per turn with her. So it's a really good card for them to try to think about how to get around. I thought it was good keeping in the deck, and you can summon it without Granguinol pretty easily. And I thought swapping Crimson Dragon for Granguinol was worth it. And finally, we have the bonus slots. We have the rank 8 that you can summon from Horus and Lubellion cards. This is obviously just a really good negate, probably the best rank 8 in the game. We have Typhon, and we have Little Knight because, like I said, it is the age of Overlord. These are 2 very powerful cards. They get you out of some tight corners whenever you have really no other plays to make. And like I said, SP Little Knight, banishing your own card on turn 1 can activate your Regained if you don't have an additional Bystial to summon to get you a draw for something that you can go into on your opponent's turn. So it's actually a really good effect to do in either phase. But these are 3 really, really good extra deck monsters. You don't have to run them, but they're recommended, obviously. And with that, we can just take a look at the side deck. Nothing too crazy. Already gave you an idea of what we're running. We have Etude of the Branded. We have Branded Beast, so a couple of engine cards there. This allows you to synchro on your opponent's turn, but more importantly, this is kind of like a D-shifter. All of the cards that your opponent uses as material for their extra deck summons get banished instead of going to the graveyard, so it kind of helps with preventing that recursion. Branded Beast, like I said, if you want it instead of the second Regained, it's a really easy swap to make. We have 1 Called By because that's all we can play. We have the Harpy's Feather Duster and 2 Lightning Storm package. This just blows up the counter match. This blows up Labyrinth, things like that. Redraw and Lockbird, one of the best cards in the game. I don't know why you wouldn't have this. 3 evenly matched, same way. Best going second card in the game, probably. And then a little Kaiju package with the Ulti Rare Karikara. The reason for this is I pulled Ulti Rare Karikara last night at my locals, so I wanted to use it. You can totally swap this out for something like 3 Book of Moons or anything like that. 3 Karikaras, whatever you want. But I just wanted to use my new Ulti Rare, and that's why I have that guy in. So side deck, pretty basic, nothing crazy. You just want to make sure you have access to those 2 branded traps in case they come up. So we're going to go ahead and get a couple test hands here. I can show you some combo with real test hands. I'm not going to like set my hands up and show you what a perfect hand will be like, because let's be real, we don't see those all the time. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle up here. I'm going to get piled shuffled, and we will draw just like we would in an actual duel. All right, we are all shuffled up. Our opponent has cut. Let's draw 5 cards and see what we get here. We have Slumber, Freezing Curses, Imsety, Smiting Storm, and Bystial Horus. This is a very, very cool hand here. Let's go ahead and activate Slumber in the draw phase, summoning Hugin from the extra deck into the extra monster zone. On summon, we are going to activate Hugin's effect. We are going to pitch Smiting Storm and search for our fountain. It's important you do this in a draw phase because it prevents you from getting rolled. We are now going to move into the main phase. We are going to activate Runick Fountain and then normal summon the Bystial Horus. At this point, we are going to tune 6 into Coral Dragon. This is going to be a tuner for us that gets us a draw on being sent to the graveyard. Next, we're going to activate Freezing Curses to go straight into Jerry the Runick Fangs. On summon of Jerry, we are going to activate Runick Fountain, targeting our 3 Runick spells in the graveyard to put him back in the deck and shuffle, or draw 3, I mean. Alright, so now we get a draw 3. We have another Imsety, Ash Blossom, and Slumber. So some good interruption for our opponent's turn, plus we have an Imsety to pitch off Imsety's effect to get King Sarcophagus and draw 1. At this point, we're going to activate, just at the risk of drawing King Sarcophagus first, we're going to activate Imsety to pitch Imsety, search for King Sarcophagus to add it to hand, and then draw 1 card. So as you can see, this deck is all about drawing. This deck is all about getting pluses off of your cards and making it so you can make plays on your opponent's turn. Now we have Guiding Quim, which would have been nice to start with, but this is a good tuner to have for your next turn. Because with Runick, there will hopefully be a next turn. At this point, we are going to tune 10. We are going to go into Baron because it's the safest play. And on summon, we are going to activate Coral Dragon to draw another card. We have a Fountain, so if they pop our Fountain, that is no big deal. We have another one we could just place next turn. Now we're going to activate King Sarcophagus. This is going to bring out our Imsety, which don't forget its secondary effect. If a card you have leaves the field, like if they want to get rid of your field spell or your Sarcophagus, you can destroy 1 card on their field. At this point, we could use the King Sarcophagus to pitch the Runick Fountain because we can recur that off of a Jerry summon and then pitch another Horus monster to the graveyard. We're going to pitch Hapi, and then we're going to use the Sarcophagus to summon Hapi. So that way, if they remove a card on our field before they place a card on the field, then we can recur 2 cards from our graveyard. Even if it's that Fountain we just put, we can put Hugin back, or we can have Horus back in hand, which we wouldn't need because we do have Quim just normal summon on the next turn. This is honestly a good field and is enough to do a lot of recursion and damage to your opponent if they don't respect these cards. But if you wanted to, you could even use these cards to go into a rank 8 here and summon out the Hope Harbinger. That way you can just get an additional negate on your opponent's turn if you don't draw anything you're looking for. Because you're inevitably going to be in the draw phase using Slumber to summon Jerry to get back your Fountain. Or you could use Slumber to summon Hugin for the protection of the destruction. And then you would at that point get your draw, and it's probably just going to be a draw 1. You're going to hope for another Runick spell there. If not, you still have the Baron negate. You would have the Hope negate. And you would be able to have a decent response with Ash as well. So this is not a bad test hand. As you can see, this is turn 1, obviously playing through no interruptions, but you don't have to worry about really bricking in this deck because all of the cards work together in some way. The levels add up to what they need to be. The draws just keep going. The types are what you need, and the non-engine is small enough to where you see just enough interruption that allows you to still make the plays you want to play and stop your opponent from the plays they want to play. So we're going to go ahead and get shuffled up here and do a second real test hand and see what we can come up with. All right, we're going to draw 5 for our second test hand and see what we get here. We have Quim, Lubellion, Imsety, Ash, and Flashing Fire. This is a really good hand. It's going to get awkward with what we're going to pitch for Imsety, But we have a lot we can do here, so this is gonna be really cool. So we're actually just gonna move straight to the main phase on this. We are gonna normal summon Quim and activate Quim's effect. This will send Blazing Cartesia to the grave, at which point we are going to activate the Bystial Lubellion to search for a Bystial monster. We are gonna go Magnemite so we can search on the end phase for some disruption on our opponent's turn. At this point, we are going to use Runick Flashing Fire to summon Hugin from the extra deck to the extra monster zone. And actually, we are not going to be able to use Imsety's effect this turn, but we are going to be able to discard it off Hugin Chain 1. We're going to discard Imsety Quim Chain 2, targeting Cartesia to summon her back. Now we get to resolve Hugin, and that will search us the Runick Fountain. At this point, we are going to tune 6 for Tri-Edge Master. He is going to get us a draw on summon, and hopefully we can draw like a runic spell here, or maybe the King Sarcophagus so we can make a couple extra plays. Let's see what we get. We do get the Runick Freezing Curses. That is exactly what we needed to see. So we are at this point going to activate the Runick Fountain and then activate Magmanite, targeting Quim to special summon. Activate Magmanite, chain 1, activate Freezing Curses, chain 2 to special summon another Hugin from the extra deck, and then Magnemite will resolve to search in the end phase. We will then activate Fountain, targeting our 2 runic spells to put them on the bottom of the deck and draw. A Runick Slumber and a Runick Slumber. Not bad. I don't believe we used Runick Slumber to summon Hugin in the first place, so that is really good. Now, we have a couple of things we can do. We could Lubellion swap for Magnemite to activate Regained, tune 12 into Luluwa Lilith, and then go into SP Little Knight. Or we could have some fun here. We are going to tune 10 into Bystial Dispater. Activate Dispater's effect to summon Quim back to your field. Swap Lubellion for the Dispater, which isn't ideal, but you do get Dispater back. We'll activate Lubellion's effect to set Regained on the field. This normally is not the first target if you have something like Fountain or King Sarcophagus on the field, so you will get a summon Dispater back most likely. We'll probably take the safe play just for the negate effect and go straight into Baron. In the end phase, we will make sure we add Cartesia back to our hand because a fusion monster went to the graveyard this turn. And we will also resolve Magnemite Search, adding Baldrake. What this is going to do is we went Baldrake instead of Brewis Worm because during the opponent's turn we can get Baldrake on the field. And when they summon from the extra deck, we can actually tribute our Lubellion to basically destroy that summoned monster. Then when they summon, we'll just summon our Dispater back with the Regained. Then we get access to those effects as well. And then when something is banished, we get, of course, our draw. We get the Baron Negate, we get the Hugins, we get the Quick Play. So you're looking at this field and you're like, wow, that's pretty good. You have Baron, Lubellion, Hugin, granted Regained. That's a decent place to pass, right? When I say this deck goes, I mean this deck goes. We are actually going to go into a Light Chaos Angel, now protecting all of your Synchro monsters. Or we could go into SP Little Knight, banishing 1 card from your graveyard, which would be your Hugin, which would then trigger Regain to put Hugin back to your extra deck and give you another draw. And boom, now you have another Imsety. And because you have 2 Runick Slumbers, you can't use those in the same turn next turn. We are actually going to pitch Imsety, activating Imsety's effect to pitch Runick Slumber to add King Sarcophagus to our field and draw 1. We have Lubellion for a little bit of follow-up search on the next play. Now we're going to activate the King Sarcophagus, which allows us to bring out, just make sure we didn't have Hapi in there yet, Imsety, the Glory of Horus. This gives us a little bit of protection against destruction of our Fountain and Sarcophagus and Regain. If any of those cards leave the field because of an opponent, we can just destroy 1 card on their field. On top of that, we get SP Little Knight protection. We get Baron Negate. Then we can reset Baron Negate by banishing Baron off Little Knight to bring it back. And you have 3 spell cards that they really want to get rid of, but they most of the time have to choose 1. And that was just a typical hand you see from this deck. Once you think it's over, it is just going to keep going on you. It is crazy. So there you have it, my take on the new Bystial Runick deck with the Harvest cards added in to give it that extra gas to keep going on your opponent and put up some really powerful boards with a lot of negates and a lot of follow-up. Let me know what you think about this deck down in the comments below. Is this something you would play? I know Horus cards aren't cheap right now, but honestly, the rest of the deck is pretty budget at this point, other than Quim, so, and Dissipator, and Chaos Angel, and Little Knight. Yu-Gi-Oh's getting expensive, isn't it? But with that, don't forget that we stream every single night over at twitch.tv/precision. If you want to come and hang out, let me know what you're playing. Let me know how you did at your latest event. Or if you just want to tell me this deck sucked, you can come do that too. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for watching to the end. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next one.